Let's link up real quick. Let's get this going, guys. I think we're good. Post this link up real quick. Put it on there already. Indices for your one last one, indices. Post this on the YouTube and the Facebook. All right, one last spot. Post this on the Instagram real quick, guys, and then we can get started. Let's see. Very nice. Copy that link. Nice. Looks like our AU swinging back up, so it looks good. If you guys are still in that trade, let me just post this to the other social media guys, and then we can get started. It's one last place, the Instagram. I'll give it some time, guys, because I know this was kind of last minute. You know, usually the weekly chart analysis kind of comes at random. If I decide to do it Sunday, if I decide to do it Monday. But it seems best right now because a lot of you guys were asking for it. So let me just post this link on the Instagram real quick. All right, cool. I think we might be good to go. Just make sure it's posted. All right, looks like we're good. All right, guys, let me check this out real quick. Cool, so I'm gonna get a few more minutes, let people hop on, because I know this is last minute. Hey, Greg, how's it going? Oh man, this weekend flew by, guys, but I'm about ready to get back on the charts. I'm ready to make some more money because last week we killed it. I don't know if you guys followed the results from last week, but last week was amazing. We had, let's see, so this was December week 1. We had 11 wins, 0 losses for Forex for a total of 495 pips. And then we had 4 wins and 0 losses for indices last week. So we had a killer week last week, guys. No losses for Forex or for US 30. So we made a ton of profit last week. Hopefully we can run that again this week. But yeah, if you guys are new here, what I do during this weekly chart analysis is basically I go down each pair that we have here on our watch list, and then I redraw all of these zones on the chart. So you guys can see right here that we have these zones that were drawn on the chart last week. And basically these zones are going to be indicators of areas of rejection. So you guys will know exactly where to trade and where not to trade, obviously. So if you were to take a buy right here, you probably wouldn't want to take a buy if you're close to the zone right here, right? Because once price reaches the zone, odds are it's going to reject right off it. Same situation right here. Price consolidates a bit, breaks the zone, comes back down. And then once it reaches the zone, consolidates a bit, pulls down a little bit before it shoots back up. So you guys can see if you guys have these zones on your chart, these zones give you guys a huge advantage because you guys can see, exactly where to trade and where not to trade. Because you can see here that price respects these zones time after time. Like we have these zones drawn up from last week. these same zones were tested way back in, see this bottom zone was tested back in January. And the same exact zones that were drawn last week were tested back in 2019, November 2018, and so on. So it goes back all the way back to, let's see these same zones that we drew last week, they've been tested way back in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Every year, price comes back to these specific zones right here, right? So if you guys have these zones drawn on your chart, it gives you guys a huge advantage because you guys will see that price usually repeats itself. But, enough said for that. If you guys are brand new here, feel free to ask any questions in the chat, and then I can answer any questions you guys have. Otherwise, we're going to be more focused on drawing these zones on the chart, and I'll be giving you guys the parameters for each zone that's closest to the current price, so that you guys can see exactly where your critical price points are. So let's see. Hey, Jalaj, how's it going? See, Mark Linian said, why not use Fibonacci retracements? What do you think about Fibonacci retracements? I don't use Fibonacci because I don't find them to be very accurate. You'll see that if you draw the Fibonacci retracements, when they work, they look good, right? But when they don't work, you're confused. You're like wondering why that they don't work. And if you've seen our results, Mark Linian, these aren't Fibonacci results right here, bro. Look at our results right here for Forex. I only use one strategy for Forex, and we have 439 wins for the year, 144 losses for the year. So we have a total of net profit of 18,000 pips for the year. I don't use Fibonacci on any of these. So not to say that Fibonacci doesn't work, but it's very subjective. The thing with the K2 indicators is that they're objective. You can't, when you see the strategy and if you see the entry, it's going to apply regardless whether, because the thing with Fibonacci, so let me show you one thing. With the K2SR zones, the zones are placed on the chart. You can't change the zones. The zone's already on there. If you use Fibonacci, the difference, let me open up a new chart over here. The difference between using Fibonacci, which is subjective compared to an indicator that's set in place, is that if you're using Fibonacci, everyone draws Fibonacci different. The way that you draw Fibonacci is not the same way everyone else draws Fibonacci. Let's see if I can find the indicator here. And this is a question we get all the time. And most people that use Fibonacci, I mean, you guys can make some decent profit using Fibonacci, but long term, everyone that I've talked to that use Fibonacci usually isn't profitable long term. So look at Fibonacci right here. If you were to draw this Fibonacci from here, this is what a normal person would draw it at, right? But the thing is, you can draw these at any point. So some people will draw the Fibonacci up to there. They'll draw it from right here, and it's subjective. So how do you know which one is the right price point to trace your Fibonacci? You can draw it from here. Let's see. So if you want to draw from this point, you can draw from here, and it could be here, right? But it can also be up here. So it just really depends on where you place it. That's what I don't like about subjective strategies, because the thing is, one person could be profitable using Fibonacci, while one other person could be complete opposite. So the thing with me is I never use Fibonacci. I've never used it in my life, never will. But if you like using it and you're profitable with it, then go ahead and use it. But for me, I don't like it. Majority of people that I do trade with don't like it either. So if you found success using Fibonacci, then continue to use it. But most of the people that I've talked to find success with it sometimes when it actually works, but it's too subjective for me. So me personally, I'm probably the last person you should talk to about Fibonacci, because I'm not going to have anything good to say about it. I only use the K2 indicators that I've developed, and I've developed them for a reason. So if you use any other subjective like price action strategies, I'm probably not the person to talk to about that, because I don't like any of those strategies. I created my own strategies and I stick to them because they provide results. So not to bad talk Fibonacci, but I personally don't like it. And I'm sure you've talked to other people who like it and some people that don't. So it just doesn't fit my trading style. And it probably would never will, because I already found something that works. So there's no point in me switching to something that is less profitable or is less consistent. Let me see what else you got here. Hey Lisa, how's it going? Wayne, how's it going? News looks good on US till Thursday. Yeah, it's a pretty empty news week so far. We have the news from today was at 2. It's already, well, it's 2 right now. We're not going to take any trades until the market's fully open. We have news on Monday at 7 a.m. But everything looks pretty clear. So we should have a pretty clear trading week. It could be a good thing or a bad thing, because without news, it might not create, crazy volatility like it did last week for NFP. But we're still going to take advantage of these non-manipulated days. So we will we'll continue to trade. I mean, we're going to trade every day regardless. It doesn't matter if there's news, no news. We'll still be trading, but it does look good. So it looks like our trade should be running smoothly for the most part. However, it is the holidays right now. If you guys are familiar with the winter season, it doesn't, most of the time it usually is slow, but we're in a different year. This COVID this year. So volatility is probably going to be there regardless if some COVID news is released. But if you guys are still in the AU pair over here, the AU trade, it looks like it's pushing back up. So it came down, broke, retested right here, the K2SR zone, and then it shot back up. So if we get a buy signal, it's probably going to continue up to hit our TPs over there. So that looks good. Let me see if there's any other questions before we get started. So I get so many questions, guys. People ask me to pass your FTMO for them. I'm not going to pass anyone's FTMO. If you guys have sat in on the other lives, I already told you guys that I don't like to pass people's FTMOs because the thing is, I'll pass it for them. They'll get their funded account and then they lose the account. So I'd rather teach you guys to be consistent traders rather than relying on me to pass your FTMO, and then not knowing to do once you get funded. So what else we got here? NCG Isaiah said, are signals given at the same time every day? Yeah, NCG. So for Forex, I trade off the 4-hour time frame. So if you know how the 4-hour candles work, they all close at the same time every single day. They close at 2 a.m., 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m., which is a swap spread. So we take that trade at 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and then 10 p.m. So it's the same time every single day, my time zone, which is Pacific Standard Time. It'll be the same for you too. It's just going to be a little off, but it's going to be the same 4-hour difference. And that's when the 4-hour trades are sent out. The US 30 trade is sent out every day during the New York session. So it'll be sent out between 6:30 a.m. and 10 a.m. every day. So depending on how you, what time zones you trade in, you should be able to catch trades regardless. Because if you look at all of my signals over here, they're sent around the same time every single day. So they're sent, let's see. So US 30 is usually sent between 6:30 and 10 a.m. So this is sent at 7:13 a.m. And then if you look at my Forex trades over here, they're also sent around the same time as well. Like GU right here is sent at 10 a.m. And if you just scroll through, you'll see that all my signals are sent around the same time. So there's set times every time the 4-hour candle closes, and then again for the US 30, which is New York session. So all right, I think that's it for the questions, guys. So I'm gonna get started with drawing the zones for you guys, so you guys can see exactly where to trade and where not to trade. And another thing with the Fibonacci's, guys. So the thing is, you could draw the Fibonacci's for this specific time, like the specific area, right? So if you draw the Fibonacci's from here, here's one thing as well. You could draw your Fibonacci's from here where it swings down and it swings high right here. But if you draw your Fibonacci's right there, how would you get this upper zone? See? So that's why I don't trade Fibonacci, and I don't like it, because the thing is, it's very subjective and it's for that specific time area. It's like, I want to have the zones that have been tested way back in the past. Your Fibonacci is not going to catch these zones from like way over here that were tested way over here, because you're only drawing your Fibonacci within this little area right here. So a lot of people like love or hate Fibonacci, but I don't, some people like think it's like the only thing that you should be using. Me personally, I've never used it and I've never liked it. So if it works for you, then continue using it. But if not, like me, then just don't. But okay, so let's get started, guys. I think everyone is here now because we've been on for a few minutes. So for you guys that are just getting in here, basically what I do for the weekly chart analysis is I go down my watch list right here and I redraw all of these zones on the chart for you guys. And I'll show you exactly how I do it. Basically, like I mentioned earlier, these zones are going to identify where to trade and where not to trade. So obviously, if you're trading right here, you're not going to want to trade once price reaches this zone down here. So if you're taking a sell, you might want to move your stop loss and profit once it gets to, say this area right here, move your stop loss and profit, because what could happen here is price can reject off this zone and shoot up to here, or it could break through here and continue down further. But I'll get more into detail with how I analyze those if you guys have any specific questions. But for now, I'm just going to draw the zone. So if you guys have been here before, you guys know exactly what we do during this webinar. And if you guys have any questions or if you guys want me to analyze anything specific, feel free to put it in the chat. However, I'm going to go down this list in order. So if you guys are asking for me to analyze like GU right here and we're on AU, then I'll analyze it once we get down to that pair. However, if we're down at GU and you guys ask me to analyze AU, then I'm going to go down this entire list right here before I go back and reanalyze AU, because we want to do this in order so that when you guys come back to this, if you guys want to come pull up the zones, you guys can just rewind the replay and go exactly to whichever pair I was analyzing at that time, since I'm doing this in order. So let's get started, guys. I'm going to start with Ucad right now. And I'm just going to do this from scratch so you guys can see. I'm going to delete everything off the chart. This is a naked chart, right, guys? There's nothing on the chart, no indicators, no nothing. What I do next is I'm going to turn on the K2SR version 2 indicator. So once we have this indicator on, I'm going to draw these zones on the chart. And this is what I mean about it being subjective. It doesn't matter where you are in time. These zones don't disappear. So you can't get this wrong. If you have this zone drawn on your chart, the zone's always going to be there. It doesn't matter if you were looking today, tomorrow, next month, last month, the zones are still going to be there. So that's why we use these zones, because they're reliable and they don't change. They don't repaint. So once these zones are set in place, they're set in place, and you're not going to be confused with where to place your zones. Because the thing is, a lot of people, they draw their support resistance by hand. And the problem with that is that a lot of them draw them in the incorrect places. So that's why I let the algorithm that I created draw these zones for me so that there's no guesswork. Literally, the zones are set in place and they're pretty much left there for all of eternity. So like, check this out. I drew these zones right here. You guys can see exactly how useful these are, because price goes from zone to zone, pretty much shoots up, pushes down to this zone, goes up from here, tests this zone, goes back to here, rejects off here, comes back down. So if you guys know where these zones are, you guys know where to trade and where not to trade, because obviously price is manipulated once price gets near these zones, because price can go one of two ways. It can come down to this point and it could either reject up here or it can break through. So that's why if you guys understand how we trade these zones, you guys will see why our win rate is so high, because we wait for confirmation after price breaks these zones. We don't take the counter trade. We ride with the momentum in the direction that they're moving. So if you look here at Ucad, you can see that these same zones, so you can see price right here. I just drew these zones today, right? You can see that these zones were tested right here today, which is December 6th. They were tested back in November. They were tested back in October, September, August, July. And if you go back here, you can see price is at the same zone. I just drew these zones today, right? So the same zone was tested back in April of 2019, May 2019, March, February, January, and then again in 2018. So you guys can see how strong these zones are. So if you guys have them on your chart, it's going to give you an advantage, because a lot of people don't realize that these are strong zones, because they're drawing their support and resistance from just this area right here. The thing is, if you don't have a computer that's calculating data that goes way back here, you're not going to have the right exact zones to draw, because sometimes people here, this is what happens. Look, so you guys see my Ucad right here. Generally what people, when they want to draw their own zones, like their own support resistance, I'll just open a new chart over here. This is basically what happens. People will look for highs and lows, right? So if you've drawn support resistance before, you've seen that sometimes you draw it and it's not in the proper areas. Like right here, someone will probably draw they'll say this is the resistance, right? And then they'll say, oh, this is the support right here. But here's the thing, there's two different supports. This could be a support right here. This could be a support right here as well. So the thing is, it's subjective, because you don't have an algorithm that's pulling data way far back to pull the strong zones, because the way that these zones are created is that they're only created zones. Like, zones are only created if this specific price point. So you can see right here that we have this price point right here, right? Which is 0.96183. This zone is only created if the same price area was tested 2 or 3 times back in the past. So in order to figure out if that price point has been tested in the past, you'll have to pull back so much data to see exactly when and where it's been tested. Because obviously right here, price didn't test this zone within this specific area. So it tested it right here back in September, but you're not going to be able to catch that if you're only looking within this little area over here, right? So that's what I mean about it being very subjective if you do this stuff by hand, because we do have some price zones right here, but there's a bunch of different areas where you can draw your support and resistance, right? There's literally so many places here. This could be your resistance. This could be your resistance. So it comes to a point where you have to determine which one is the proper support and resistance. And that's why I use the algorithm to identify it for me, because I'm not going to outsmart the computer. You know, no matter how smart I am, no matter how long I've been trading for, the computer is always going to be right. So you guys can see there, I just eyeballed some zones right there. But you can see that they differ a little bit from Ucad. They're kind of similar, but they're not exactly on point. But yeah, that's just like, you know, quick explanation as to how these zones are drawn. But looking at Ucad right here, price is currently between these two zones. So this upper zone, or this upper zone right here is going to be 0.944951. And this lower zone down here is going to be 0.94537. So if you guys want me to analyze this more specifically, then let me know. Put it in the chat. Say, you know, Shawn, can you analyze Ucad? Shawn, can you analyze USD, EURUSD, anything specific? Because if you guys don't ask me to analyze these pairs, I'm not going to analyze them. I'm just going to give you the zones, because we still have our daily webinars every day, Monday through Thursday, where I'll be analyzing them more in detail. So if you guys want me to analyze them, just put them in the chat, and then I can stop and take time on each specific pair to analyze them for you more in detail. Like if you guys want to see where Ucad's going right now, I'll turn on the momentum indicator. So you can see right here, we have a bearish momentum, right? So we entered this trade right here where price broke the zone, and then we entered a short position to this next zone right here for a full TP, right? Same situation right here. There's another entry right here because this price broke the structure right here. So what we're anticipating is for price to continue down and test this lower zone right here for another full TP. And you guys have seen our win rate. You guys have seen me call these trades live. You guys know that the strategy works. So basically right here, we're anticipating this to come down and test the zone right here. But we're not going to take this trade yet because we want to see how the market stabilizes after market reopened. Because you guys understand the market was closed for like, what, 2 days? So a lot of things can happen over the weekend. So price can spike back up, or price can spike in the continued direction as it was moving last week. So like I mentioned, I'm not going to go in detail unless you guys ask me to analyze something specific, because I'll analyze it if you guys ask. But if you guys don't ask, then I can analyze it during the week, because the thing is, the market's not fully open yet. You know, the market just opened right now 45 minutes ago, and we're in the Aussie market. So the Asian market hasn't opened, the US market hasn't opened, the London market hasn't opened. So volatility is going to be very slow right now. So it's kind of hard to identify, you know, where price is going to be moving for the week until all the markets have opened for the trading week. All right, let me turn off this fan, guys. It's cold in here. All right, we're good. So we have a couple questions here. Black to Jerry said, these zones are all part of the K2 indicator. Yeah, Black to Jerry. So basically, like I just drawn earlier, these zones are created. If I turn on the K2 SR indicator right here, and I hide this, you can see that all these zones are on the chart already, right? So all the zones are right here. It looks all messy. So what I do is I draw my own zones on the chart like that. I hide the indicator, and then we have some nicely drawn zones right there. And you can see that these zones have been tested. So I drew this zone right now, just, you know, right a few seconds ago. You can see that the same zone that was drawn right here was tested way back in July of this year, June of this year, actually. So you guys can trust that if price comes down to this area, you know, it's a strong zone because it's tested how many times back here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when it comes down there, you can anticipate that price might reject off here, or it might break down further. So it's super helpful. If you have the indicators, you have a huge edge in the market, because a lot of people don't identify the support resistance properly because they see so many things, and I prefer to just let the computer identify them for me. Okay, let's see. All right, so Black Jerry wants me to take a look at GU. I'm going to put that on my list. I'm going to make a list right here, guys. So when I get down to that point, I'm going to spend some more time on that specific pair. So we have GU, we have gold, XAUSD, and then we have S&P for crypto GH. Black to Jerry said, so wait, you draw those pink areas after the indicator. Do we get these zone templates with the membership? So if you, so basically, here, I'll do it again on Scratch for you. So Black to Jerry, I'm not sure if you joined late, but we already went over Ucad. So I'll go over to the next pair, which is Usd Chf right here. Basically, this is what a naked chart looks like, right? There's nothing on the chart. When you sign up for the membership, you'll get access to all the K2 indicators. You'll get access to the momentum indicator that's going to indicate, which direction price is going. On top of that, you get the K2SR indicator, which plots these zones on the chart for you. And then you get the first K2SR indicator, which only draws the nearest zone for you. So here's how the indicators work, guys. So as price moves, the zones automatically adjust for you. So you can see right here that we have the resistance and support right here, right? It's already identified on the chart. As price moves along, you can see here that the zones adjust. So you can see that this resistance was up here earlier, but now it's right here because price is getting closer. See, support was right here, and as price moves down, the support adjusts even lower. So that's like one of them. The version 2 is going to create zones. So the K2SR version 1 is just going to plot the nearest support resistance. The K2SR version 2 is going to plot all the zones for you. So you can see all these zones on the chart. If I rewind way over here, you can see that there's other zones here, right? So there's all these zones right here, but as price moves, these zones are going to recreate. So if price creates new zones, a new zone is going to be created as price continues to move along. And the way that I do this, Black to Jerry, is because you can see how messy the zones are, right? The zones are messy because there's a ton of zones on the chart. So in order to clean this up, I draw my own zones over the full zones. So if they overlap like that, I just draw my own zone right there. And then again down here, and then again down here. So this is just for example. These are how I draw my zones because sometimes they overlap. If they overlap, you can just create one big zone instead of having a messy chart, because I like to have a clean chart. I like to see exactly what's going on. So you can see how messy that was previously, right? And I just clean this up right there and this down there as well. And then lastly, again, down here. So once I have all that, I just hide the indicator and then I have clean zones on the chart for me right there, instead of having those overlapping lines. Hey Spencer, how's it going? Okay, so that's it for well, let me go and redraw these zones. So I was just showing you an example of Black to Jerry, how it's done. And this is included in the K2 subscription. So if you guys subscribe to K2, you'll have access to all these indicators. Also, you guys will have a one-on-one mentorship with me. So I can teach you exactly how I trade and how you guys can be as profitable as I am and the rest of the K2 members. But just a reminder, guys, this the one-on-one mentorship is only going to be available to the people who sign up this year. Because if you guys have been following K2 for a while, you guys have seen that we've gone way too busy. So I don't have enough time to give you guys individual attention if you guys sign up next year. Because everyone that signs up this year, I'm going to make sure that all you guys are profitable traders and you guys will have one-on-ones with me to master my strategies. But if you sign up next year, you guys will still have one-on-ones with me, but they're not going to be unlimited. So obviously the people who sign up this year are going to have priority versus the people that sign up next year. Because I just don't, there's one of me and there's like hundreds of you guys. So, I can only help so many people become profitable traders like myself. But I'll try to help you guys as much as possible. All right, Izzy Dior, so can you do UJ? Yeah, so I'll pull up UJ as well. So I'm making a list, guys. If you guys want me to analyze anything specific, I will look at them as I move down the chart. So just put any pairs in the chat, and then I can take a look at anything you guys want. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up Usd Chf right now. Let me just hide everything off here. Gonna go and draw these zones. So price is currently right here. I'm going to turn on the K2SR indicator, and then I'm going to draw these zones. So we got this zone up here. This one right here. And you guys can see how fast I draw these zones. I draw these zones within a few seconds. It doesn't take that long. But you guys will see how helpful these zones are once you actually draw them. It doesn't take very long to draw these zones. It doesn't take very long to analyze the charts either, once you have these zones on the chart for you. So right here, this one down here, and this last one right here. So just like I mentioned before, these zones get tested so many times in the past that they give you a good understanding how price will be moving for the rest of the week. So price is currently within this zone right here. So this upper zone where it could break is going to be 0.66345. And I'm going to skip this zone right here because it's so close to this one. And I'll just give you this lower one down here, which is 0.66050. So looking at current price right here, price is currently right here. And you can see that the same zone was tested so many times this year. It was tested back in November. It was tested back in September. It was tested back in August. It was tested in July, June, May. So it's been tested literally all year, guys. So once price reaches this price point, you can tell that if price breaks above it, it's going to shoot up here, way up there. And if price breaks below it, it's going to shoot way down here. So this gives you an edge in the market so you know exactly where to trade. So if you have these zones drawn up, you know, if price breaks above here and we have a momentum signal upwards, right now we have a sell. So what we're anticipating is price to break below here. Price breaks below here, you'll have a nice free fall way down here for about 100 pips, nearly 100 pips, 90 so pips, that you can pretty much ride down. Because you can see right here, when price breaks this point, it's generally going to go to this next zone. Same situation right here. When price broke this zone right here, and you had a buy signal, so you know momentum was going upwards, you could have entered this buy right here and rode this up with full TP for about 80 pips or so, or even more. If you put no TP, you could have, you probably could have rode this way higher, way up to this zone up here. So you guys can see how useful these zones are. And this is why I want to provide them for you guys, because a lot of people aren't proper with identifying these zones. But if you guys have indicators, it makes things a whole lot easier. But yeah, that's Usd Chf right there. See, Adam said for FTMO account, do you only enter with FTMO parameter signal? Yeah, Adam, the reason why we have FTMO parameters is because the pricing is different. So if you enter the normal pricing, you're not going to get in at the proper price because the FTMO pricing is different from, you know, other brokers. So if you're trading on FTMO, then you should follow the FTMO parameters. However, if you are, you know, if you're using a different broker, then don't follow FTMO parameters because the pricing is different for US 30. I'm not sure how it is for Forex because I don't trade Forex on my FTMO. I only trade US 30. But sorry, guys, I got messages. But if you're trading, you know, US 30, you should definitely follow that specific price. So let me just show you guys one example. Adam's asking about US 30 right here. So if you look at US 30, this was the New York session entry was at 30,093. And you can see that the pricing for FTMO is a bit different. It's 3,076. So you can see that there's about a, what is it? It's like, because it's by the 100. So if you do 90, it's 930 minus 760. Pricing was off by 170 pips. So that's a huge difference if you're going to be entering on the wrong price point. So if you're going to be using FTMO, then obviously you're going to have to use, you know, the off FTMO parameters because you're going to get in way at a, you know, at a way different price if you enter the wrong price on your platform. So just depending on what you're trading on, you know, if the FTMO parameters are given for a reason. So if you're trading this, then use FTMO. If you're trading something else like Hugo's Way, I don't know what other brokers people use, IC Markets, any of that stuff, then use the actual normal pricing. So that's just a quick explanation for that. Someone's asking me if you can show the profits from last week. So if you guys weren't following our profits for last week, so these aren't even my profits, guys. These profits are profits from other K2 members. So you can see right here, these are all the profits from people last week. So Wesley right here, man, he killed it. Look, Wesley said, revive my FTMO with the discipline you preach every day, bro. So Wesley was super the negative. I don't know if Wesley, if you're in here, but Wesley was about to fail his FTMO. And then he started following what I was telling him. He went from like negative 9,000 up to 6,000 in profit today. So he went from like literally going to fail his FTMO to now he's 7,774 in profit. So he's about to pass his FTMO, just following my trades and just following my advice. Csuko over here, $500, Alekin right here, $800. And you can see that all these profits are from K2 members. They're not even my profits. So if everyone's doing good and you're like the only person that's not doing good, you guys might be doing something wrong. So if you guys have any questions, just reach out to me and I can help you out. It's Jalicia from last week. It's huge props to Jalicia. She joined K2 maybe 2 weeks ago and she made a withdrawal of 7,394. That's how you can tell her account's legit. This isn't even FTMO. She's trading her normal account. So she made this much profit just trading with me. Here's Mercibal right here. I don't know if he's in the room right now, but this dude has more money in his trading account than he does his bank account, just trading with me for the past couple of weeks. Tam over here locked in a couple $100. Prem over here. I don't know if you're in the room, Prem. He locked in about $600. Cheryl here is killing it. She locked in 6,000. Josh, his first FTMO trade, trading with me. He just had a brand new account right there. His first trade with me, he locked in $1,000. So this just goes to show that, I actually teach something that actually works, guys. I'm not just showing my profits. There's more people here that make more profits than even I do. So I get kind of jealous sometimes, but if everyone's winning, it's all that matters. So yeah, whoever asked that question, there goes the profits for you guys. Let's see. Abdullah Sheikh said, what's the lot size you use for trading US30 on FTMO? Abdullah, so if you're trading FTMO on a 100K account, I trade at 15 lot size. And then, it's basic math. So depending on what lot size, on what account you're trading, on a 100K account, your max loss is 5,000 for the day, right? So for me, I trade at 15 lot size. You multiply that by 1,500 pips. I'm only risking 2,250. So it's impossible for me to fail FTMO if I just trade 15 lots every single time because our win rate's so high. And that's why I use 15 lots. Obviously, if you're trading a smaller account, you just divide that by 2, 15 divided by 2. If you're trading a 50K account, you trade a 7.5 lot size. If you're trading a 25K account, divide that by 2. You're only risking, a 3.7 lot size. Because if you're taking this right here, then you're going to be risking, 30 cents per pip, that's 1,500, 450 per trade. So it's an easy breakdown. If you guys don't understand how to calculate, your risk when using FTMO, just reach out to me because it's not that difficult. But a lot of people don't get it right and they end up failing FTMO because they take way too big of a risk. Adam said for FTMO, is there cash and cash only and close only? Which, Adam, I'm not sure what you're talking about with your question. For FTMO, there is cash and cash. Wait, for FTMO, there is cash and close only. Which one do we enter into? So Adam, for everyone, we only enter WS30. So you can see everyone's profits right here. Wesley, WS30. I'm not sure which one you're referring to. CC right here, WS30. So this is the only symbol that we trade when we're trading US30. You can see everyone's account here, RX, WS30. If it has cash next to it, it probably doesn't work unless you've tried it and it does work. I've never seen that before. So I think you should just stick to the WS30 because that's the one that we all use. All right, guys, let me get back to the chart analysis. Kind of went off track right there for a bit, but we went over Usd Chf. We're gonna go on to the next one. Damn, check that out, guys. Full TP, US30. So if you guys are still holding the US30 position from last week, we just hit full TP. Bam, check that out. That's crazy. Okay, so let me post that. Let me post. It's at an all-time high. Oh man, whoever held on to that trade, you guys made some crazy money off that. I closed mine at TP1 because obviously, I don't like holding over the weekend and I can't with my FTMO, but geez, full TP, guys. All right, man. Hopefully you guys made some money off that. Because I did go on live on Friday. I called that live with you guys. So whoever was there made that money. Let's see. Post it up real quick to all the groups so that you guys can see what's good with that one. Oh, I forgot to hit up Aaron. Let me hit up Aaron if he wants to hop on here. I was talking to him earlier. He wanted to hop on this live. Where's Aaron at? Sorry, guys. Send him a link real quick. If you guys remember Aaron, he used to help me out with K2 before when we first started. He went out to like start his own company, which is cool. But I've been helping him with his own company as well. So, if you guys have been with K2 from the beginning, I'm still here to help you guys out. It doesn't matter if you guys went and joined some other groups. People always end up coming back to K2 anyways. Let me see what we got here. All right, cool. All right, cool. So Aaron's gonna hop on in about 5 minutes. Show. All right, cool. All right, so we're good with that. Let me post the profits over here. Everyone's good. All right, so we're good right here. All right, guys. So yeah, US30 hit full TP. That's a huge gap, guys, from the week. So it dropped from here. It shot up like 1,200 pips. So that's nice. It's real nice. CRAU trade. All right, so I just went over odd CHF, guys. I'm now going to go over odd JPY. Sure, no problem, Adam. Nice. NCG said I'll be joining the team this month. Nice. NCG Isaiah, we'll be waiting for you, bro. Once you join, get ready to start making those profits with everyone. But let's get started on this. Let me just delete everything off here. Turn on the K2SR. I'm just going to do this real quick, guys. So unless you guys ask me to analyze a pair, then I'm not going to spend any time on it because, like I mentioned, I still go on live every single day, guys. So if we don't analyze your pair now, don't worry because I'm on live Monday through Thursday, sometimes Friday, and I can analyze it there when the market's actually moving. So today is actually not even a good time to analyze specific pairs because it can still spike up from now until US open tomorrow morning. But it doesn't matter. If you guys want me to analyze it, I'll analyze it for you. All right, so here's odd JPY. And sometimes there's not going to be an upper zone right here. And if there's no upper zone, we're just going to go on the higher time frame, like the 8 hour. And then I will draw this upper zone right here. And another one right here. There we go. Go on the 4 hour right here. So price is currently within this zone right here. So this upper zone is going to be 77.74. I'm just going to round that up. And this lower zone right here is going to be 77.332. So price can either break above it or break below it. But like I mentioned, the market just opened, so there's not much volatility in the market right now. So it's not the best time to really analyze it. But if you guys do want me to analyze it, I will. So that's it for odd JPY. I'm going to try to speed through this, guys, because it is Sunday. I know you guys just want to get these zones on your chart. So I'm going to try to get this out for you guys so you guys can start taking your trades. But if you guys did ask, I will stop on those specific pairs. So right now we have questions for GU, UJ, Gold, and S&P 500. So once we get to those pairs, I'm going to actually analyze those in detail and show you guys what I think is going to happen with those specific pairs. So here's odd NZD from the K2SR indicator. Draw this zone right here. This one right here. And you guys can see how easy it is. A lot of people like to overcomplicate things. My advice is to just keep things simple. Price can go up or down, guys. You guys don't have to have all these crazy confirmations. Literally, I only use 2 confirmations for this specific trading strategy, and we're super profitable. So, it goes to show that you don't have to overcomplicate things. Just make things simple and straightforward because price can only go up or down. If you make a mistake, take that loss and continue to the next one. All right, so you guys can see I analyzed this chart, or I drew these zones within a few seconds. Take that off. Here's odd NZD. Price is currently right here. This upper zone is going to be 1.05458, and this lower zone right here is going to be 1.04934. So those are the 2 zones for odd NZD right there. Let's move on to the next one. Odd USD right here. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do with this one is I don't want to mess up the chart because we do have an active trade running. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if the zones line up with the current zones that I have on the chart. So you can see right here, we have this lower zone right here. I already have that drawn. We'll leave that on there. Again, right here, this lower zone over here, it's still on there. And then these lower zones right here are still on there as well. Since we don't have these upper zones, I'm going to go on the higher time frame, 8 hour, and see if I can pull those zones. No zones there. Go on the daily. There's where I put these zones. We have this zone right here, which is on the daily time frame. And then we need an upper zone, right? Because price is above it already. So we'll go on the weekly. And that's where I pulled that zone. So that's why I have that upper zone right there. We go back on the 4 hour, it lines up perfectly. So looking at price right now, price is currently within these two zones right here. We do have a buy momentum. Oh, there we go. That's nice. All right. So we do have this buy signal right here. If this closes with this buy signal, then I anticipate this to shoot on way up here, which is going to hit our full TP for 80 pips. So our AUD/USD is looking good, just like every other pair I've called like for the past, 2-3 months. And I think it's going to continue up. So hopefully this closes. We have about 2 hours and 51 minutes left on this candle. So once this closes, if this closes with a strong bullish candle and the buy signal intact, then we could anticipate that to shoot on even further. So it's looking good for our position overall. Hopefully that closes because I still want to hit full TP on this one. So that's AUD/USD. This upper price over here, upper zone is going to be 0.74988. And this lower zone right here is going to be 0.74143. So that's it for AUD/USD. Move on to the next one. CAD CHF. I'm going to go ahead and redraw these zones since we're not really looking at it like that right now. Delete that, zoom out, turn on the K2SR, and here we go. You guys can see how fast I draw these zones. So got that right there. So once you guys get good at this, you'll be able to draw these zones within a few seconds. So I could draw these zones real quick, turn on my momentum indicator, and then analyze the trade right away. So right here, we have a bullish signal. Price broke this structure. It's probably going to keep pushing up to test this before coming down. And see that, guys? I analyzed this whole pair within less than like maybe 1 or 2 minutes for you guys. And that's how easy you guys can do it as well if you guys understand how to use the K2 indicators. But yeah, for CAD CHF right here, price is currently within these two zones. Like I mentioned, I anticipate it to shoot on up to test this zone right here. And this price point is going to be 0.69858. And this lower zone right here is going to be 0.69636. So since we have a bullish bias right here with the momentum indicator, odds are price is probably going to break this, or it's going to test this zone and it'll either reject off it or it'll break through it. If it breaks through it, then I anticipate it to push on to the next zone where it attempts to either break through it again or reject off this point. So it's really simple, guys. You guys got to keep trading simple because if you overcomplicate it, you're going to miss out on a lot of good trades. So that's it for CAD CHF right there. Let's move on to the next one. I'm going to keep zooming through this because a lot of people keep messaging me for specific pairs. And I know you guys just want the zone, so it's fine. Here's our CAD Jpy from last week. Hit full TP for 65 pips. I can delete this now. Price broke this zone right here, so it's probably going to continue up even further. But like I mentioned, I'm going to sit tight until the market stabilizes from the weekend before I enter any new trades. I'm going to go and delete that. Turn on the K2 SR-V2 indicator. And then let's draw these zones right here. That one. That one. That one. Right there. There we go, CAD Jpy right there. And this lower one right here. So easy as that, guys. We don't have an upper zone right here on the 4 hour, so I'm gonna go on the 8 hour. Nothing there, go on the daily. And this is what I mean about identifying these support resistance, guys. So like right here on this 4 hour, if you guys are using Fibonacci or you just identifying support resistance, you guys aren't going to be able to find this upper resistance anytime soon because price hasn't been in this area since August of this year, again in June of this year. So unless you go super far back, you're not going to find this upper zone. So that's why we just turn on the K2SR indicator and then go on the higher time frame to identify that. So right here, nothing on the 4 hour, nothing on the 8 hour. Right here on the daily. So we do have one zone right here on the daily. It's just one upper zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a horizontal ray right here so that I can identify that. And then on top of that, I want to see a higher zone so that I know where to look out for. All right, so we drew that zone right there. You know, what we can do is instead of drawing that, because it's so close to this next zone, I'm just going to draw this zone right here and connect it down to there. So we have that huge zone up there. All right, so you can see price is right next to that zone. And I'm probably not going to take a buy right here because price will probably shoot up to the zone right here and it can either reject off or break above it. If it breaks above it, then I'll take my long position because it minimizes my risk, right? So that's why for this, I'm going to wait for that. But yeah, looking at current price right now, it's currently within these two zones. Like I mentioned, when price reaches this zone, it can either reject off it or break above it. But until then, you know, I'm going to wait for it and be patient for price to break this zone because I don't want to enter a buy right here and then it ends up reversing on me and then stops me out. So, you know, this is a waiting game, guys. It's a game of patience. A lot of people don't have patience with trading, but if you're patient enough and you follow your trading plan, you can be very profitable trading consistently and long term. So price is currently within these two zones. This upper zone is going to be 81.600. I'm going to round it down. And this lower zone over here is going to be 81.428. So those are the two zones right there, two zones to look out for. Once price breaks above it, you can take that buy. If price rejects off it and breaks below, you can take that sell. So key price points right there. Move on to the next one. Chf Jpy. I'm going to go ahead and delete everything off here. Naked chart, turn on the K2SR indicator. Got those zones on the chart right here. And go ahead and draw this. That zone. That zone. So sometimes if the zones overlap, guys, that's what I was mentioning earlier. If the zones overlap, you guys can just connect them because it doesn't make sense for me to draw two zones right here. See, there's like one zone right there and another zone down here. It just makes no sense for me to draw these zones right here because I'm not going to take a trade within this small zoned area. So I'm just going to delete that. I'm going to create one big zone right here or one zone right there and then one smaller zone down here instead of drawing, you know, three zones within here, here, and here, and then one bigger zone down here. And the thing is, price is way up here, guys. So this is irrelevant anyways. Even if price was to, you know, push down to here, it wouldn't make sense for you to even worry about these zones down here because price isn't going to drop, you know, 200 pips next week unless something crazy happens. Hey, Velocity, how's it going? Hope you got a good weekend, bro. A lot of more profits to be made today. I don't know if you held on to this trade Velocity, the US 30 trade that we were talking about, but it just hit full TP. So props to you if you held on to that because you would have made a ton of profit or you would have came back to a ton of profit this week. But yeah, back to Chf Jpy right here. We don't have an upper zone, so I'm going to go to the 8 hour. And there you go. You have the upper zone right there. All right, go back to the 4 hour right here. I have its K2SR indicator. So price is currently, wow, it's right at that zone. So it's at a strong zone. So if you guys didn't have this upper zone, you know, you could have gone screwed if you held on to this buy right here. What's up, Usman? How's it going? So price is currently rejecting off this zone right here. The price is 116.982. And this lower zone down here is going to be 116.254. So those are the two zones closest to current price. Let's check the momentum right here. So price rejects off here and we get a sell momentum signal then odds are price is probably going to drop super far down and test, like come back to retest the zone down here. So we'll see how this goes. Nice. Yeah, Usman said last week was amazing, bro. Yeah, definitely, man. We all made a ton of profit, guys. Like some of you guys made more profit than me. It's crazy. When the students make more profit than the teacher, right? Hey, Flan, how's it going? Or Flynn, sorry, bro. Flynn, Flan, happy Sunday. But yeah, so price to this upper zone right here is going to be at 116.982. Sorry, I think I already said that. And this lower zone down here is going to be 116.250. So we're done with Chf Jpy. Move on to the next one right here. Euro odd. So go ahead and delete these right here. Zoom out from this chart, turn the K2SR indicator, and draw these zones. And these zones are super far off. See how much price is in between these two zones. I might just create one big zone right here instead of, yeah, I'm just going to create one big zone right here for these two. And then same with this one down here, because EA moves really fast compared to other pairs. So looking at EA right here, it's currently at a pretty critical price point, because you can see that the same zone that's been tested where price currently is, it tested right now in December, tested in November, tested in October, September, August, July. This is a really critical area, because you can see here that the same area where price currently is down this middle, it's been tested so many times. So if it breaks below it, it's probably going to drop further down. If it breaks right back above it, it's going to shoot all the way up. So this is a huge area right here where you can catch some crazy pips. This area is like 320 pips. This area down here, if it breaks below, you can lock in a nice 60 to 120 pips, because this specific area where it's testing, it's tested almost every month. And then way back in 2019, 2018, 2017, it's a strong area. So price is currently within these two zones right here. I'm going to give you this lower zone, which is 1.62962. And this upper zone right here is going to be 1.63446. So we do have a, I think, bearish momentum. Let's see. Oh, we don't have it yet. Okay, so price breaks below the zone right here, and we get a sell signal, like it closes right below here. We can pretty much ride this down to this next zone over here for about 60 pips. So I'm definitely going to be looking at EA this week to see if we can take this sell to lock in some nice pips right there. Nice. Glenn said K2 is going to kill US 30 this week, 5-0. And we did some damage last week, guys. We went 5-0 last week, so it's probably going to continue on this week, hopefully. We'll see how it plays out, but I do anticipate it to be good. Yeah, I'll give you guys these parameters again. This upper zone is 1.63441, and this lower zone down here is going to be 1.62962. So that's it for EA. Move on to the next one over here, Eurocad. Delete these zones, turn this off, turn on the K2SR. All right, so we got that zone right there. This one's kind of messy. We'll just reconnect these two right here. Draw this lower one right here. He's down here as well. Yeah, we just create one big zone. Eurocad's a bit of a messy pair, so I like to have bigger zones for pairs like this that are messy, because I don't want to enter trades that are too risky, where they're like getting too close to the zones. So price is currently within this zone right here. This upper zone is going to be 1.55016, and this lower zone down here is going to be 1.54636. Akin Pelu John said, "Hey K2, I'm new to your live chat. How can I set up my support resistance as you do, sir?" So Akin Pelu, so if you want to be able to draw your zones exactly how I do, you're going to need access to the K2SR indicator, which is this indicator we use right here. Basically what I do is I turn that on, and I draw my zones over the K2SR zone. Sometimes they overlap like they do right here, which is why I create one big zone instead of creating two small zones right there. So you'll need access to this indicator to be able to see exactly where these critical zones are. And once you have access to it, you just turn it on, you use the rectangle tool right here, and then you just draw your zones over. Once you're done with that, you hide the indicator, and then you can see that these zones right here are very strong price areas. So you can see prices currently right here within this zone, and it's tested back in November, October, September, August, July, et cetera, et cetera. It goes back super far back. So that's how you draw it. And if you don't have access to it, Akin, you just go on our website, k2trades.com, and then you can sign up for your free trial, or you can sign up not free trial, sorry, a lowered discounted trial. So right here, if you just want to learn how I trade and all the K2 strategies, you just click here and you can sign up for free access to the course and to all of the public groups. However, once you're ready to start applying my strategies and my indicators, just scroll down to the bottom right here. We still have this trial going on. So for this trial, it's $50 for the first month, and you'll get access to the K2 strategies course, the K2 indicators that I just showed you, and all the K2 premium groups where I share all of my trades real time. And then on top of that, you get a one-on-one mentorship with me, basically answer any of your questions if you need. So this is still available. This is not going to be available for very long. It's probably going to disappear by the end of the month. So if you guys want to take advantage of this, this is a huge difference compared to the full monthly. So, I recommend you guys take advantage of that while you guys can. But like I mentioned before, K2 is growing so fast that I just don't have time to mentor everyone one-on-one anymore. So if you guys sign up by this year, you'll have access to me one-on-one for, unlimited sessions, as long as you're subscribed, because you need the K2 indicators, obviously, to apply the strategies. So if you want one-on-one mentorship with me, sign up by the end of the year. If not, you'll still have one-on-one mentorships with me, but it's not going to be unlimited, because obviously whoever signs up this year is going to have priority over people that sign up later. Let's see. Flynn said, Shawn, do you trade exotics like MXN or SG? I used to, but I don't trade them anymore. Probably should, because they're less manipulated. So I got USD SGD here, but I don't necessarily trade it anymore, because like I do pretty well with my other watch list already, so I don't really need to go into exotics, because the problem with the exotics is the spread sometimes is super crazy. Like, let me show you an example. So the spread here is like 5.3. It's not super crazy, but if you look at something like you were saying, the peso, so MXN, see MXN USD. Oh, duh, it's in stocks. So if I look at MXN USD, the spread's crazy, bro. It's like, let's see, where is it at? Oh, the market's not even open right now for the US dollar. But if you did see the spread for the peso, it's like super wide. So I personally don't trade it anymore. I just stick to the major and minor pairs right now. But yeah, guys, so I looked at Eurocad right here. I'm going to give you guys the parameters again in case you guys missed it. It's 1.55016. Again, that's 1.55016. And this lower zone right here is going to be 1.54645. So those are the two zones for Eurocad. Let's move on to the next one, Euro CHF. I'm going to go ahead and delete these right here. Turn the K2SR. And draw these zones. So we got this zone up here. Down right there. And just a reiteration, guys, this is super simple. Like, people always come to me who have learned trading from other people, and they're always so shocked that I make things so simple and I make it so easy for you guys to follow. Because the thing with trading, guys, is that it shouldn't be that complicated. If you guys make it too complicated, you guys are probably going to make a lot of mistakes. So the more simpler you guys keep it, and the more consistent you guys are with your trading, the better results you guys will have long term. Because you guys have seen the results here. So I hate having to show you guys the results again, but if you guys look at our results, I've been using the strategy all year. This is the one Forex strategy I used for January until now. I only use one strategy, and you guys can see the results here that we're always positive at the end of the month. And in total, we have 439 wins, only 144 losses, for a net PIP win of 18,444. And you guys can see the profits here are crazy, guys. Just using one strategy all year round. You guys will see a lot of people teach you like 100 strategies. And the thing is, you'll never know which one to use, right? You use one, it stops working. You use another one, it works for like a week, stops working. Then what happens? You guys are so confused and you don't know what to do. But if you guys want to learn something that's simple that actually works, it's available to you guys. Let's see. Flynn said, so you try to wait for price to be below or above the red zones before you enter a trade. Flynn, so I'll show you an example of how we enter these trades. So let me just give you guys the parameters for Euro CHF right here. Price is currently within these two zones right here. This is kind of a bad example to use for a trade because Euro CHF is a very messy pair. They're very similar pairs and they move similarly. That's why it consolidates majority of the time. You can see price breaks down to a zone and just consolidates, breaks up, consolidates, breaks up, comes back down, consolidates. So price is currently within these two zones. This upper zone right here is going to be 1.08133, and this lower zone down here is going to be 1.08069. So those are the two zones for Euro CHF right there. Let me see if I can find an example of how we apply that strategy. The same strategy that I showed you guys that I use for every single trade that we take. So let me, I'll go to a different pair because this is a messy pair. We don't really trade this that much, but I still watch it because it has a good spread and it's worth a pretty decent amount. So let me get down to EJ, Flynn, and then I'll show you an example of how the strategy is applied because this pair is kind of messy. EG is kind of messy as well. Hey, what's up, Mercibah? I was just talking about you, bro. So yeah, Mercibah right here, he's the one that joined, and he's been with K2 for like 2 years. So you've been around for a while, Mercibah. But I was telling you, Mercibah made a ton of profit this past week. I was just showing them your profits, bro. So Mercibah right here, dude made 781 this week. That's crazy. And Mercibah was telling me that he has like more money in his trading account than he does his own bank account. So this just goes to show that if you guys, if you guys are consistent with your trading, you can make a ton of profit here. Mercibah just joined the room if you guys are wondering who I'm talking about. But yeah, dude killed it. Look, and I'm not sure if this is, or this is probably the same account. But yeah, this is just for that day. Made like 169 for the week, 781. That's like more than most people make in their paycheck. And Mercibah's right. He's on his way to be a full-time trader eventually. So looking at EG right here, I'm gonna go back and redraw these zones. So I keep going off track whenever a new person joins in the group. Yeah, Mercibah said, oh yeah, thanks bro, good work, man, definitely. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that off the chart. Turn on the version 2 indicators right here. Draw these zones for you guys. So we got this one right here. I'm just gonna draw one big zone. Go ahead and draw this right here. Yeah, guys, and the thing with Mercibah, he's not even in the premium, guys. He's making that much profit, attending these lives with us and is killing it. Like, you guys don't even have to be in the premium. Obviously, if you're in the premium, you guys will have, more opportunities because you guys will have access to the K2 indicators, but it's not 100% necessary. You guys can make a ton of profit just joining my live sessions and learning how I trade and, applying it to your own strategy and trading plan. Because I'm here to help you guys. I'm not here to, I'm giving you guys this webinar for free. I'm not here to like charge you guys for every single thing. I'm literally here to help you guys. But if you guys want access to the indicators, obviously you guys can sign up to the premium, but it's not necessary. Just show up to this live every day and you guys can make a ton of profits just copying my trades as I take them. So here's EG right here. Price is currently within these two zones. This upper zone right here is going to be 0.90516, and this lower zone down here is going to be 0.90045. So let me see where price currently is right here. Yeah, this is a messy pair too. So I'll show you an example on the next one, Flynn, how everything is done when I apply the strategy. Move on to the next one, EJ. All right, so here's EJ right here. I'm going to redraw these zones on the chart. We got this lower zone right here. Got this zone right here. It's going to draw one bigger zone. And then this zone right here. zone right here. This one right here. And this bigger one right here. So obviously we don't have an upper zone right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the higher time frame and pull that closest zone to current price. So we have this upper zone right here. We also have this upper zone right here. And I'll show you guys the same exact strategy that I use for all of our Forex pairs. I use one strategy. That's it, guys. And it's super profitable. So if you guys learn it, you guys can be applying it yourself, just like everyone else in K2. So right here, price is currently within this zoned area. So this upper zone is going to be 126.47. Again, that's 126.47. And this lower zone down here is going to be 126.057. Again, that's 126.057. So I'll show you exactly how I enter these trades. Here we go, Flynn. So basically I turn on the momentum indicator so I could identify the direction of price. And basically what I'm waiting for here, I'll just put this, so I'll put this right here. And basically, or I'll show you another example because this example is kind of messy. Or no, it's fine. It's not a huge deal. So basically when the way that this strategy works is this is going to be the K2 SR zone trading strategy on the 4-hour time frame. And it's super simple, guys. Just for once, you identify break and close past K2 SR level. 2, identify a valid K2 signal. And then lastly, enter on the open of the following candle. And that's about it, guys. It's super simple. So first you identify a break and close past the K2 SR level. Right here, price broke and closed past the K2 SR level, right? So that's requirement number 1. Next, identify a valid K2 signal. So right here, we have a buy signal, right? So momentum swinging upwards. So after that, you're going to enter on the open of the following candle. So you'll enter right here for a long position and pretty much ride this trade to this next zone over here for a gain of like, what, 40 pips? And then we trade for a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Remember to use the exit strategy to eliminate your risk when price moves in profit. And that's literally it, guys. That's literally it. You hit next, and there we go, full TP. Easy as that. And I think we took this trade too. So if I show you, if I look through the trades here, see, I think we even I call that trade. Let's see. Oh, this was the other one. So we didn't take this trade right here, but we did take this one over here. So that was an example for a buy. Here's an example for a sell. So right here, same situation, price broke and closed past the K2 SR level down here. We identified a valid K2 signal right here for a sell. We entered on the open of the following candle right here. Pretty much let that run. And there you go, full TP, right? Or actually, no. So let me see, I didn't draw the whole thing. So right here, basically the way that this works is we try to reach this next zone right here, right? So we try to reach it for about like 90 pips, I guess. So 90 pips right there. Identify the break and close past the K2 SR level. Price broke below it and it closed, right? Identify a valid K2 signal. There's a valid sell signal right there. So since we have momentum swinging down, it broke this structure right here, which is a critical structure. We're going to identify this to come down and test the zone before it either rejects off it or it breaks below and continues down further. But we want to get out of this trade before it reaches the zone because we don't want to get caught in a reversal or anything like that. So we let this trade run, and there you go, full TP for 90 pips. And it's pretty much the same thing, run over and over and over again for every single pair that we follow. So you guys can see that I follow like 25 pairs here, right? These are all the pairs that I trade. I also trade US 30, and that's pretty much it. But that's how the strategy works, super simple. If you guys have access to the K2 indicators, it's it's really hard to get this thing wrong because the requirements are so simple that you don't have to really do much. You just have to make sure that there's a break and close, momentum's going that direction, and then you take the trade. So if you guys sign up to the K2 strategies, you guys will have access to all the indicators, and this is what the course looks like. You have the intro right here, trading view functions and tools, the basics right here, and then this is where it gets real good. My strategies, obviously, the intraday strategy, momentum pullback strategy, scalping strategies. The strategy I just went over, the K2 SR zone trading strategy. I use this for every single K2 premium signal for Forex. And then right here, the pivot strategy, and then our US 30 strategy as well. So you guys have access to everything, guys. You have literally the blueprint to be a successful trader. So if you guys sign up to this, you guys can learn to trade exactly how I do. And then on top of that, if you guys want to go check out all of our results, I have them all here. So every trade has been documented. So every trade for October is right here. You click on that. It has our win losses right there for Forex and indices. And then every trade right here is documented. So if you want to go back and look at every trade I called, you guys can pull it up right here. You know, I'm fully transparent with you guys. I'm 100% transparent, and you guys can go and recheck all the trades. See, I show the wins and losses. A lot of people always ask me why I don't show losses, but the thing is I do show losses, but most of the time we win. So, you know, our win rate's so high that a lot of people think that I don't post losses, but the losses are clearly stated right here. You guys can see every loss that we send out. And even on our results, if you guys look at our results here, every trade is posted. You know, I'm not showing like 100% wins because it's not possible. It's impossible to be 100%. You know, we have 439 wins, but we have 144 losses. So, you know, I'm showing you guys that I'm completely transparent, and you guys can trade exactly how I do. And if you do it properly, you'll be consistently profitable, you know, at the end of the week, end of the month. You might have a bad trading day, but you'll bounce back the next day, the next month, the next year, et cetera, et cetera. But okay, so let me go back to the chat over here. Flint said, simple strategy is best. Thank you for explaining. Maybe we can change the name of the strategy to make it more appealing. Let's call it the K2 calzone strategy. It's funny, bro. Hey, what's up, Brayden? Brayden said, what's up, Shawn? Joined K2 today. Nice. Yeah, I did see you join today, bro. I don't know if I sent you, let me check the emails real quick. So we got, oh yeah, Brayden. Yeah, so I did email you back, I think, with all the links. So I think you should be good to go. But yeah, man, I'm excited to have you on the team, Brayden. You know, we have a ton of profits ahead of us. We've been killing it like the past couple months, well, this entire year in general. But I'm glad to have you on the team. You know, let's make some profits this week. See what else we got here. All right, so I just looked over EJ right here. You know, once we're done with this, move on to the next one, Euro NZD. Go ahead and close this right here. Zoom out of here. Delete these zones. And then redraw these zones on here. Let me check the list again for the questions. So right now we have questions for GU, UJ, Gold, and S&P 500. Just a reminder, guys, I'm going down this list and drawing the zones for you guys. So once I get down to this specific pair that you guys have asked for, then I'll take time to analyze it. Otherwise, if you guys don't ask about a specific pair like Euro NZD right here, I'm just going to draw the zones and move on. Just a reminder, you know, we have these live webinars every day, Monday through Thursday. So if I don't answer your question today, don't worry, because I'm going to be on tomorrow morning and I can still analyze your pair at that time as well. Let's see, Aaron's here. What the heck? Aaron said I'm here and then he disappeared. I don't know where Aaron went. It's all right. He'll message me if he wants to hop back in. Check this out real quick. Yeah, I'll just let Aaron hit me up if he wants to hop back in. But all right, let me zoom out of here real quick. Let me draw these zones for EN. Flynn said, Brandon, it's time for you to make bank. Use a K2 pivot strategy for US 30. Nice, Flynn. Yeah, a lot of people have been killing it with, you know, just trading on their own. Because I look at these profits and I'm like, dang, everyone's making profits while I'm just chilling. Because I only trade certain sessions and, you know, I trade what works out for me. But if you guys have access to indicators and you guys master it yourself, you guys can make a ton of profit on your own as well. Let's see what else we got here. Just want to make sure everything is smooth right here. That right there. Lower zone over here. All right, so we got all the zones marked up here for Euro and NZD. This one down here. So price is currently within these two zones right now. And this upper zone over here is going to be 1.73215. And this lower zone right here is going to be 1.70786. So we do have a bullish momentum. So if this breaks above here, well, price is probably going to come from here. It's probably going to, so this is probably what's happening right here. It's shot up right here, retraced down a little bit, and then it's probably going to keep pushing up to test this zone right here. So that looks pretty decent right there. But you guys have the zones, so you guys know exactly where to look out for. Let's move on to the next one, Euro USD. Right here, let me go ahead and delete all this stuff off the chart. Zoom out from this point. Turn the K2SRs. Draw this lower zone right here. This one right here. This one right here. This one right here. And this lower one right here. We could probably connect. We connect these two over here. Yeah, guys, the US dollar was super weak last week. That's why it pushed up so high. And we'll see how it plays out this week. It might continue to push up because a lot of the United States is going back into shutdown. So if that happens, it's not going to be good for the US economy, right? So we could probably see this continue up, but we'll see how this plays out. We don't have upper zones over here on the 4 hour, so we'll go on the 8 hour. Nothing on there, go on the daily. Yeah, so price hasn't been this far up in a very long time, guys. So let me keep going up further. Wow. Yeah, price is at somewhat of a dead zone right here. All right, so this upper zone is going to be way up here. I had to go all the way on the weekly to grab this zone for you guys. So price hasn't been up here in a very long time. Go back on the 4 hour right here. All right, so price is currently within these two zones over here. So we have this upper zone, which is going to be 1.22297. Again, that's 1.22297. And this lower zone right here is going to be 1.20944. So that is, those are the two zones for your USD. We'll have to see how the USD plays out this week because I'm not sure if there's going to be new COVID news, which there likely will be, with regard to the vaccination. But if we keep going back into shutdown, this is probably going to continue up even further. So we'll see how that plays out, guys. Flynn said, is Eurocad a buy? So let me just pull back to Eurocad real quick. No, bro, Eurocad's a sell. Flynn, I'm not sure what you saw for Eurocad. Looking at the pivots here, it's in a strong downtrend. It's going to break the zone. On top of that, momentum is coming down. We have a bearish bias. So yeah, Flynn, I'm not sure why you saw Eurocad as a buy. It looks like a strong sell to me, bro. If it breaks the zone right here, it's going to continue down even further. So I'm not sure what you saw with Eurocad as a buy, but I definitely see it as a sell until we get a buy signal. But even if we got a buy signal and it rejects off this point, it'd have to break the zone up here for it to qualify as a buy entry. So Flynn, I'm not sure what you saw in Eurocad. If you want to analyze it further, just send me your chart or like what you saw, and then we can cross analysis. We can do a cross analysis of what you saw and what I currently see right now. But I will I'll come back to that later if we decide to take a look at it. So the last pair I marked up was Euro USD. Let's move on to GA right here. Delete these zones. Turn on the K2SR indicator. Draw this right here. There. Draw a big zone right here. So many zones in that area. And then this big area down here. Draw a big zone as well. All right, cool. So price is currently within these two zones right here. This upper zone is going to be 1.81918. And this lower zone right here is going to be 1.80338. So until price breaks, this structure right here or swings back up to this structure, then we'd probably be waiting for that entry. We can see what the momentum is. Momentum swinging down. So just like I mentioned, if price breaks and closes below the zone, it's going to provide for a sell entry right there. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. But we won't know until price breaks past that zone. All right, cool. So let's move on to the next one. I got GA right there, Gcad over here. Guys, 1 second. I'm gonna go grab something real quick, and then I'll be right back. Just 1 second, guys. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, we got dinner in the oven. I almost forgot to turn it off. So we were on GA. I think that's where we left off. Move on to GC right here. See if there's any other questions. Okay, we're good. Okay, so let me continue on with this with GC and delete these zones. Zoom out from here. Turn on my K2SRs. Draw this zone right here. And GC is a messy pair. There's so many zones here. If price is too close to a lot of the zones, I usually just avoid the trade because there's too many rejection points. But let's see. But I'll just draw this up in case you guys, are trading GC. I generally don't like to trade GC because it's a risky pair to trade, but I still watch it because it's a good. If you catch a good move, it's a good pair to trade. But most of the time, it usually reverses, so it's a bit risky. All right, let's go back on the 4-hour. Turn that off. Okay, so price is currently within these two zones right here. So this upper zone is going to be 1.71645, and this lower zone right here is going to be 1.71064. So those are the two zones for GC. Move on to the next one. I'm going to keep speeding through these guys because a lot of people keep messaging me that they just want the zones. before they start taking their trades for the week. So I'm just going to try to focus on that. And if you guys have any questions, just put them in the chat, and then I'll focus more on those specific pairs when I get to it. We do have the first question coming up soon for GU. So once I get to GU, I'll take my time on that specific pair, and then I'll analyze it more in detail so you guys can see what trades are going to be available for that right now. Fix this right here. All right, cool. So we got all these zones lined up right here. I'm gonna hide the zone indicator. Price is currently rejecting off this zone right here. So with that said, let me see where the momentum's moving. We have a bearish momentum. So I'd have to wait for this to break way down here, guys, before I enter a sell position, because I would hate to enter a sell right here and then it reverses on you at this point and it hits your stop loss. Same situation right here. It comes down, reverses on you, same situation right here. So that's why I'd wait for it to break below this zone before I take a sell right here. The price is currently within these two zones right now, where this upper zone is at 1.19898, and this lower zone right here is going to be 1.19606. So those are the two zones for GBP CHF right now. This is a bit of a messy pair because they move kind of similarly like the other CHF pairs I discussed. So you can see right here, price generally consolidates for a long time, then it breaks out to a new zoned area, then it consolidates again before it breaks below. So it looks like it's just going to be consolidating for a bit right here until it breaks back above it, or like I mentioned earlier, if it breaks below it right here. So I'm not sure if anyone's trading this, but if you guys want to, I personally don't like trading this pair, but those are the zones for you. So let's move on to the next one right here, which is GJ. So we got GJ over here. I'm going to go ahead and delete these zones, zoom out from this point, turn on the K2 SR indicator right here, draw this upper zone right there, draw this lower zone right here. This one right here. So the JPY pairs are kind of messy because last week they pushed up so high that they're in a new area where they haven't really tested, in the past. So let me just, yeah, this is probably gonna have to just be a big zone right here. This price hasn't really been down here in a while. Slower one. There we go. So we got all the zones lined up. Hide the K2 SR indicator. Zoom out from this point. Yeah, right here. It's obviously, it's still moving pretty bullish due to the news last week. Looking at the momentum indicator, we have a sell momentum right here. However, if price rejects off this point, swings back up, and we get a buy signal, and it's going to provide for a strong buy entry right there. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Like I mentioned, it's still Sunday, guys, so the market just opened. Not all the markets are fully open yet, so there's not going to be very much volatility until probably US session tomorrow. So price is currently within this zone right here. This upper zone is going to be 140.082. This lower zone down here is going to be 139.700. I'm going to round that down. So that's it for GJ right there. Now we're going to move on to GN. Zoom out from here, delete everything. Turn on the K2 SRs. Delete that old alert. So we got this upper zone right here, this zone right here, this zone right here, this zone right here. Sorry guys, it's kind of loud. I don't know if you guys hear that airplane. I live right next to the airport, so you guys might hear like airplanes every once in a while in the background. Okay, fix that right there. And then we got this lower zone right down here. All right, so let me hide this. Price is currently in between these two zones right here. So this upper zone is going to be 1.90945, and this lower zone right here is going to be 1.89408. So we do have, I'm pretty sure we have a bearish momentum right here. Not yet. So this is going to be prime entry for a sell if we get a sell signal that appears right here and closes below this zone, because price broke the zone, we get the sell signal, and then we can anticipate price to continue down to this next area over here. So if we get that, we can enter a short position somewhere over here and pretty much write it down for about 100 pips. But like I mentioned, it's still Sunday. Volatility is not there yet. So once we see what happens, we can probably enter that. Brandon said, I thought that was, LOL, I thought that was outside my house. Yeah, man, I hear airplanes all the time, and I mean, I get used to it, but it does get annoying sometimes. So looking at GU right here, I'm going to go ahead and draw this up. Or it might be, Braden, where are you from? Are you from California? Sorry, guys, I'm getting a phone call right now. I'm going to answer that later. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to answer that later. But yeah, looking at, sorry, I was saying Braden, yeah, if you live in Orange County, you probably live near me. You probably heard the same thing if you live in Orange County in California. Because like surprisingly, some people live near me. You might see a lot of, Northern Michigan, you're just like way far off. So you probably got a different airplane flying near you. Okay, I'm here at GU right now. Let me see if I drew these zones properly. Sorry, 1 second, guys. I'm getting a freaking voicemail. I'm gonna see who this is. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Let me check this voicemail real quick. All right, never mind, guys. We're good. I was like wondering who was calling me. I get all these telemarketers calling me. It's so annoying. And he asked me if I want to sell my house. I'm like, bro, I don't even own a house right now. So it's just annoying that I get these weird telemarketers calling me all the time. Looking at GU right here. So this is the first question that someone asked earlier. I forgot who asked, but someone asked to analyze GU. So I got GU right here, and I'm going to just go from scratch, guys. So going from scratch right here, I'll show you exactly how I analyze the pair. So here I have GU open. It's a naked chart, nothing on the chart, right? Turn on K2SR indicator. I'll draw these zones right here. This lower zone. We got this zone right here. This one right here. This one right here as well. And then this lower zone right here as well. And then this upper zone over here. This one over here. And this last zone right here. So I just want to grab one more upper zone because like I mentioned, the US dollar is weak right now. So it's probably going to be bullish, but I mean, there's no guarantee it'll continue in that direction. I just want to know where the next rejection points will be. So we got that one right there. So this is pretty much the baseline. Once I have the zones lined up, I know exactly where price is going to reject from or where it's going to continue down from. So once I have these zones lined up right here, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the K2 momentum indicator right here. And as you can see, we have a sell momentum signal that's pending right now. So this candle still has about 2 hours left in it. However, if it does close, then we're only going to be looking for sells. So if this closes and pushes below this zone right here, I'm going to be taking a short position and ride this down to this next zone right here, using the same strategy that I use for every single Forex trade that I take and I call. This is pretty much what I see happening here. But I'd have to get that confirmation that price breaks below this zone in order for it to, continue down from there. So this is basically what I see happening with GU. This is how I would have analyzed it using the same strategy that I've been discussing with you guys, since earlier. So I'll show you another example of how I would have applied that, right here. So you can see that price. Oh, this is crazy because you can see this. Check out this setup right here. This same setup played out right over here. So just looking at price, sorry, let me fix this. Yeah, looking at price right here, I'm going to go and turn off the K2 SR indicator. I mean, the K2 momentum indicator. And you guys can see that the same setup right here is happening again right here. So I'll show you exactly what I was looking at with regard to that entry. So if I go ahead and rewind the chart to this point right here, price broke the structure. We had that sell signal. It closed below the structure. We would have taken a short position right there. Or let me zoom out from here. Yeah, I would have taken a short position from this point right here. And then I would have pretty much wrote it down, right? So if we have that all set up right there, we let this run. Check it out, full TP for like 200 pips. So that's pretty much what I see happening right now for GU. As you know from Forex, history always repeats itself. There's so much data for Forex that you can find so many patterns that just repeat itself over and over again. So if this happened over here, it's probably going to happen again. So looking at this right here, I wait for this to break below, then I'll take a sell position. I go full leverage on this. Just kidding. Don't do that. But I'm probably going to go pretty high on this position if this happens. But until that happens, I'm not going to take a sell. So I don't recommend you take a sell like right now or even within this area right here, because what might happen is price might come down, test this zone right here, and then it can reject off it and stop you out, right? So that's why I'm going to wait for it to close below this zone, because there's not enough space to trade within this area right here. I want price to break below this zone, and I can ride this all the way down here. And then once it rides down there, price can either reject off there or it can continue down further. So until price reaches this point, I'm just going to sit tight. Like I mentioned, trading is it's a game of patience. You literally have to be patient for that perfect entry. And then once you take it, it's pretty much a home run from that point. So this is exactly how I would analyze GU. Braden said these indicators work on 4-hour and US 30 on the 10-minute. Yeah, Braden. So the indicators work on all time frames. So right here, we have this on the 4-hour. If you trade on the 30-minute, it works on there as well. Trade on the 1-hour. The indicators work on every single time frame. There's no specific time frame you have to trade on, but obviously if you follow the strategies, I have specific time frames that I personally trade on because I find them to have the most success. So applying this specific strategy, which is going to be the K2 SR zone trading strategy right here. Using this strategy, the one that I use for all the Forex signals, I trade this on the 4-hour time frame. So if you want to trade exactly how I do Forex, then you trade that on the 4-hour. However, if you want to trade US 30 like I do, using the K2 daily US 30 strategy, this will be done on the 10-minute. But if you want to apply any of the other strategies like the intraday strategy, the momentum pullback strategy, the scalping strategies, the pivot strategy, these can be done on any time frame. So you can apply it on the 4-hour, 10-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, it doesn't matter. It's really up to you where you want to apply it. But if you watch the videos, I have them detailed how, what are the best time frames to trade them on, because I've done back testing, 5-10 years back for every single pair. So I know exactly what works well and what doesn't. So yeah, quick answer to your question, 4-hour and 10-minute are the main ones that I use for Forex and for US 30, but you can apply them on any ones that you want as well. There's no specific, there's no only like one time frame you have to use. You can literally use it on any time frame you like. But yeah, so that goes there goes GU for you guys. I forgot who asked for that earlier. Oh, Black to Jerry. So Black to Jerry, there goes GU for you if you're still here. And I'll move on to the next one. So I'm done with GU. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I gave you guys the parameters. Price is currently within these two zones right here. So this upper zone right here is going to be 1.34426. And this lower zone down here is going to be 1.33899. So that's it for GU. Move on to the next one, Ncdcad. Take everything off the chart. Turn the K2SR indicator. Draw these zones right here. Let's see. I'm gonna draw a big zone because price is so far away from it. There. There. Right there and right over there. All right, so looking at Nzdcad right now, price is currently within these two zones. This upper zone is going to be 0.90505, and this lower zone down here is going to be 0.89628. So those are the two zones for Ncdcad. Move on to the next one, Ncdchf. Looks like the zones are pretty same. So guys, for these next zones right here, just to make things fast, I'm not going to redraw the entire zones because people are asking me for the zones right away. So I'm going to just make sure if they have lined up with last week's zones, because sometimes price doesn't move far enough and the zones are still the same zones as they were last week. So you don't necessarily have to draw new zones every single week. It does help you understand and helps you draw these more efficiently because you can see that I draw these within a few seconds, right? For you, it might take you a few minutes because you're not so familiar with drawing these zones. But in some situations, you don't even have to draw new zones. You literally could just turn on the K2SR indicator. And if they line up perfectly, then there's no need for you to draw new zones, right? So right here, there's no zone here. So I'm gonna delete this. That zone disappeared. Same situation down here. This zone is gone as well. I'm gonna delete that. But these lower zones are still there. So once you have those zones drawn up, you can just turn that off. And there you go. You have your zones lined up for this week. Pretty much same thing as last week. There was just a couple zones that have disappeared since then. So those make it a little bit irrelevant. So for Ncdchf, this upper zone right here is going to be 0.63203. And this lower zone right here is going to be 0.62368. So those are the two zones for Ncdchf. Move on to the next one. Usd Jpy. I'm going to do the same thing for this, guys, because nobody asked for me to analyze this more specifically. So I'm just going to zoom right through it just so we can do this for time constraint purposes, because I've been on this webinar for about 2 hours and a lot of you guys here just want the zones and don't want any of that fluff. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw these zones for you guys so that you guys can get on with your trades for the week. But if you guys have any specific questions and you guys want me to be more detailed with a specific pair, just put it in the chat and then I'll take my time on that one, just like I did with GU earlier. I'm just going to update these zones right here. All right, cool. So all the zones are pretty much the same. You guys can see these zones are drawn from last week and they're still in that same area. So I can leave these alone. The only difference is that we have a new zone up here. So I'm going to draw a new zone right there. And there you go. You have everything set up. Turn this off. Price is currently within these two zones. So this upper zone right here is going to be 74.009. And this lower zone right here is going to be 73.129. So that's it for NJ right there. Move on to the next one, Nzdusd. We do the same exact thing. Turn the K2SR indicator. You can see that all these zones are still here except this one. I'm going to delete that. Down here, all these zones are still down there. So I'm not going to delete any of those, just leave them as they are. But we don't have an upper zone. So in order to determine that, I'm going to go on the higher time frame, 8 hour. Nothing there. Go on the daily. Nothing there. It looks like I drew an upper zone right here. So I'm just going to delete this one, see where that came from. Nothing on the daily. Go on the weekly. Nothing right there right now either. Go on the monthly. You can see that price moves so far out that you have to go on the monthly chart to get these zones. And it's like I mentioned before, if you guys are using other tools that aren't able to identify zones like way far back, you're not going to know where to draw that zone at, right? Unless you go on the monthly chart and draw this zone here. So I have that upper zone. I'm going to go back on the 4-hour. Price is currently within these two zones right here. It's pretty wide. So NZD/USD is a bit of a risky pair to trade because this can technically go way up here, but it might be retracing currently right now. And then as it retraces, if price pushes up to this point and then it establishes like a double top right here and rejects off this exact same price point, it's going to create a new zone right there. That's how zones are created. So this is a bit risky, but just looking at it now, price is currently within these two zones, and this upper zone is going to be 0.72330, and this lower zone down here is going to be 0.69191. So that's it for NU right there. Move on to the next one, which is Ucad. This was a huge win. I remember I went over this with Velocity, I think, right? Or someone else I was discussing this with, but we were thinking about entering this trade. But like I mentioned with NU, the zone was so far down, way down here, that we were too scared to take it. However, if we did take it, it would have played out exactly like I would have thought, you know? So I should have just followed my own advice and took that trade. However, we didn't. But it's perfectly fine. You know, sometimes you got to be careful if price reaches this new price or like this price area where price hasn't been before in the past. So let me go ahead and turn on the K2SR indicator, see if the zones are still the same. And I'll hide the wrong one. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hide my current zones. You can see that all the zones pretty much line up the same as they did. Actually, no, they're kind of different. So I'm just going to delete everything and then go from scratch because the zones are a little different for Ucad. So let's go ahead and draw this upper zone right here. This zone right here. This one right here. This one right there. Let's draw one big zone right here. It's super messy. This one over here. Here, and then we got to get that lower zone because we don't have one that's way down here on the 4-hour because price hasn't been in this area for a very long time. So let's go on the 8-hour. Nothing there. Go on the daily. Nothing there. Price is so far down. Weekly, nothing there either. We have to go all the way to the monthly to get this zone. So there we go. That lower zone way down there. And this takes the guesswork out of determining where the zones are, guys, because you can see right here, if you're on the daily chart, someone probably would have drawn a zone right here, right? So if someone drew a zone right here, they probably would have missed this trade, or they would have missed the continued sell right here because there was no zone at that time. But going over here on the 4-hour, we have everything lined up perfectly. Price is currently within these two zones. So this upper zone right here is going to be 1.29292, and this lower zone right here is going to be 1.25594. So that's it for Usd/CAD right here. Let's move on to the next one and keep zooming through this, guys, because I know people here just want the zones, like I mentioned earlier. USD Chf, I'm going to do this real quick. See if everything lines up perfectly. If they do, then there's no need for us to redraw the zones. Looks like things have changed a bit, so I'm going to redraw these zones for you guys here. So we'll draw this zone right here, this zone right here, these lower zones. Yeah, we just connect those two right there, connect these down here, get this going over here. This one right here, and this one right here as well. So we have no lower zone. I'm gonna go on the 8-hour, nothing there. Go on the daily, nothing there. Go on the weekly, nothing there. Go on the monthly. All right, so prices, the next zone is way down here, guys. So you got a long way to go. So if the US dollar continues to be weak, we can see this drop even further. So just looking at current price right now, turn off the SR indicator. Geez, wow, that's super far down, guys. So this is a risky pair to, wow, price is way down there. So I'm shocked that there's no zone that's anywhere closer. But looking at the charts here, price hasn't been in this price area for, wow, look at how far it's been, guys. It's been like 2017. Price still hasn't been here. So let me go to the weekly again, or monthly. So the last time price was down here was back in 2015. So USD Chf is a really risky pair to trade because you don't know what's going to happen from where price currently is until here. I don't remember. Well, I don't know if you guys remember what happened with the CHF. I forgot, someone mentioned it, where the market just crashed, and that's where it dropped from here all the way down to here. So you can see how far this market crash happened, where the US dollar just went to shit. What was this, in the 2015, 2012? This wasn't the the traditional market crash everyone talks about, but this is something where people were betting on the market because people kept saying, or they were it was like in the news and stuff, where people were indicating that price would never reach a specific point because the Swiss franc was never supposed to go below a certain price point, right? And then it just ended up crashing like crazy, and then people lost a ton of money during that time. But you can see this specific price point hasn't been tested since 2015, again in 2012, and then again 2011. Here, let me just check it real quick because I'm just really curious what happened during that time again. Let's see, Swiss franc crash, 2015. There we go. So 2015, that's when this happened right here, guys. Check this out. This was when it happened. Let me pull it up on my screen over here. So this happened right here, the flash crash. This literally, it spiked price, like I think for like 1 day or so. And then it just literally, caused by a fat finger trade. I don't know if you guys have read about this, but price is currently dropping to where it dropped back in 2015, where this flash crash happened. So, looking back at history, this could happen again, where this could just come crashing down. Let's see how many pips. Crashing down, Jesus, over 1,000 pips. So almost 1,500 pips. That's a lot of pips, guys. And if you're trading USD CHF, this is it's an expensive pair to trade. It's not a cheap one. So just, looking at this right here, price is currently in a new area where it hasn't tested in a long time. So just looking at where price currently is, let me just show you on the 4-hour. It's currently right here, but it doesn't reach that next zone till like way down here, guys. So I would be careful with trading USD CHF right now, because it could either tank super hard or it can recover super hard too. Like say if we get a vaccine that comes out like tomorrow, right? I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but if it does happen, this could shoot way up. However, if it doesn't, and the COVID just takes over and it gets worse, this will just keep crashing down even further, because the Swiss franc is a safe haven currency. So where price currently is, the upper zone is going to be, let's see, upper zone is going to be 0.89822. And this lower zone down here is so far down, guys. I can't even like zoom down. The zone down here is going to be 0.78539. So those are going to be the closest zones to current price. And that's it for there. Let's keep on moving on to the next pair. All right, so that's it for USD CHF. Just keep in mind, guys, risky time to trade USD CHF, because I'm not sure what's going to happen from there. It's a long drop till the next zone. So let's move on to UJ. This is another question that was asked earlier by one of the members, so I'm going to take some time on this. I'll analyze this from scratch, and I'll show you guys exactly how I would have pictured this moving for this week. So let me delete everything. Turn on the K2SR indicator. Draw my zones real quick. So I connect these right here. Those right there as well. That one, this, or one right here. Let's connect those two right there, and then this lower one down here, and then lastly, the one way down at the bottom. So just like I did with with GU earlier. This is the basic framework, drawing the zones on the chart. Once you have these zones on the chart, I'm going to pull up the momentum indicator. Right here, we have a bearish momentum, how our price is pushing up. So if price ends up coming back down from this point, and like I mentioned earlier, US dollar is weak right now. So if it pushes down, closes below here, then I would take a short position to continue riding this down to the next zone, right? So that's pretty much how I see UJ right now. But like I mentioned, if price continues to push up and we get a buy signal, so if we get a buy signal like this right here, and it pushes, up here, you can probably take a buy position and ride that to the next zone right here. But it is kind of tight, so I wouldn't take it. It's only 11 pips. So if price pushes up here, we do have a false buy right here. So if it does push up, it'll probably continue up and then keep pushing up until it reaches, this next zone up here. However, I don't really see that happening because the US dollar is weak right now. So I would look for a sell. So until price breaks like way up here, I wouldn't take a buy. However, if price breaks below here, then I would take a sell. So there's two scenarios here. One scenario is this signal doesn't close and it just continues to push down further, right? If it pushes down further, I would take a sell right here. However, if price closes with this bullish signal right here and it continues up, then I might take that buy signal as it reaches, a certain structure up here. I wouldn't take it right here. It's too close. Same with right here. It's too close. It's only about less than 10 pips. It's not worth your risk because price can reverse at any point from here, or even if it breaks above here, it could reverse from here and you could get stopped out, especially with the US dollar being weak. I wouldn't take that risk. So I'd probably be looking for a sell. However, I wouldn't take the trade until there's some sort of confirmation telling me that, price is going to continue down from this point or price is going to continue up from this point. So that's it for you, Jay. Probably just take some time with, waiting for that entry. Don't enter too early because last thing you want to do is enter a sell right here and then it spikes up and stops you out. Vice versa, last thing you want to do is enter a buy and it spikes down and then stops you out. So just be patient with UJ. But my bias is telling me that it's going to come down if the US dollar remains to be weak, especially if there's no COVID vaccine updates, from now until probably the end of the week. So that's UJ for you guys. I think that's it for all of the USD pairs. So I've given you guys, the price is currently within the zone right here. So the upper zone is going to be 104.229 and this lower zone right here is going to be 104.028. So those are the two zones for UJ right there. And I think that's it for the Forex pairs. So I went through the entire list right here. If you guys want to go back and rewatch my previous analysis for any of these pairs or for the previous zones, just go ahead and rewind the replay. And then you'll see that I did all of these in order. So if I'm on UJ right now, just rewind like 5 minutes and you'll see USD Chf, USD Cad. Go back maybe an hour, you'll see EJ. Maybe 2 hours, you'll see the AUD pairs because I've been on this live stream for about 2 hours now. A couple other questions we had was for gold. So I'm going to go and analyze gold for you guys. Pull gold right here. Yeah, same analysis that I had last week. So pretty much last week I analyzed this for you guys, and I think I said I was going to push up. So I still think it's going to push up. You see these bullish candles right here, but I'm going to go ahead and analyze this from scratch for you guys. So here's a naked chart. Turn the K2SR indicator, and this just goes to show guys that the K2 strategies work for all assets. It works for Forex, works for commodities like gold, oil, etc., and also indices as well. So if you guys trade anything, stocks, commodities, Forex, crypto, the strategies work the same for every asset. So if you guys want to learn, it's available to you guys. So let me draw these zones right here. Let's get this zone right here. So if you saw my previous analysis, I had like a bullish bias on this. Looks like it played out a bit. So we have these zones lined up. Once I have the zones, I'm going to hide the K2SR indicator, go back to the momentum indicator, and just looking at price right here, exactly like I mentioned earlier, we had this bullish momentum right here, right? So if you're following the same strategy that I'm using for the Forex pairs, I was waiting for price to break structure right here, right? So price broke the structure. We have a bullish momentum right here. So we're taking a buy. We would have taken a buy right here. And then I would have anticipated this to push up to this next zone up here. Pretty much 2400. I think that's about 240 pips, right? So if you guys took my advice when I first gave my analysis on this, you would have been in profit about over 200 pips, 220 pips right there. And I still think it's going to continue its move to test this zone because like I mentioned before, price respects the zones. So right here, price broke the zone. What did it do from that point? It tested the zone right here, correct? Same situation right here. We had a buy signal, price broke the zone. What did it do? Test this next zone right here. And then it either broke above it or broke below it. The thing when you're trading is you want to have two scenarios at every time. You don't want to analyze things just in one direction. You want to make sure to analyze it from both directions to make sure that you understand the risk involved with that specific entry. So like right here, price is probably going to push up. And then when it reaches this point, it's probably either going to reject off it or break above it and continue up further, right? So this is how I see gold right now. I think it's still going to be bullish. It's going to be bullish until it reaches this zone. And then once it reaches that zone, it'll either reject off it or it'll continue back up. So that's my analysis right there. Always keep in mind that you should always analyze the trade in both directions. Like don't just stick with a buy because you think it's going to go up, because odds are it's probably not going to go up. Just so you guys understand, should I stay in this trade? Should I get out of this trade? Like what to look for with regard to how price reacts once it reaches a certain area of price. Because even right here, price might not even push up to here. This is what I see my bias. But if I get a sell signal right here, so say if we get a random sell signal like we did right here, right? Then my bias is going to change. It's going to go from a bullish bias to a bearish bias. And then at that point, I'm going to identify gold as coming down to test this zone and then either reject from here or continue down, right? But like I was mentioning, everything correlates, guys. So if you trade Forex, everything correlates. I was telling you guys that the US dollar is weak, right? So if the US dollar is weak, price is going to go up. And that's why I have a bullish bias right here. So same situation with GU, all the AUD pairs, AU, EU, GU, NU, UJ. I think they're all going to go in a certain direction because the US dollar is weak. If you guys don't understand how price moves, if price is going up, this is going to indicate that the first currency is stronger than the second currency, right? So if that happens and the US dollar is weak, it's going to continue pushing up. Vice versa, if the second currency is stronger than the first currency, then price is going to go down. So keep that in mind, guys. If you guys don't follow the news, just listen to what I'm saying. I'm telling you guys that the US dollar is probably weak right now because of COVID, because of a lot of other things. There's no new vaccine news out yet. There might be tomorrow. If there's new vaccine news, this is probably going to spike down, right? Because the US dollar is going to be stronger. But like I mentioned, a lot of states in the US are closing down and they're shutting down again because of COVID. So the US dollar is going to be weak and people put their money back into these safe haven currencies like gold, Swiss franc, JPY, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, that's how I see gold, guys. I have a bullish bias for gold. So I think this is going to continue upwards. Braden said, quick question real quick. Should I open an FTMO account and start right away? I have a personal account as well, but I'm thinking I can pass the challenge based on your signals. So Braden, I get this question every day. It's really up to you. If you feel confident with your trading and you feel confident with my signals, my trades, etc., then start your challenge, because there's never a good time and there's never a bad time to do the challenge, because you can skip this, like you can skip this entire month like a lot of people are because they're scared of the market during, holidays, and you can miss out on a ton of good trades. Like for us, if you look at our results here and we go over to November, like look at our trades for November over here. A lot of people wanted to sit out November. So let me just go back to results. I'll go back to like the full November results. So looking at, let me go up higher. All right, right here. So these are the full November results. A lot of people were scared to trade November, right? Because of elections, because of Thanksgiving, because of the holidays. If you sat out during November, you would have missed out on all of these wins we had. See, November week 1, we had 3 wins, 0 losses. November week 2, 13 wins, 2 losses. November week 3, 10 wins, 1 loss. If you skipped November because you were scared and you thought the market was going to be moving right during, November, then you would have missed out on all these profits right here. Same with our US 30, you would have missed out on all these profits. So it's really up to you whether you want to do it or not. If you feel comfortable, then do it. If not, then just wait, because there's no rush and there's no hurry. Like there's no hurry and there's no reason, there's no way for you to really time the market. A lot of people want to time the market and trade next year. By the time next year hits, you would have missed out on all the wins that could have passed your FTMO. So just keep that in mind. If you feel comfortable and you feel confident, then take FTMO. If not, then continue to wait. But it's really up to you if you want to take it. I'm still trading every single day, so it doesn't make a difference for me. I got to keep trading. This is what I do for a living. I trade full time, so I can't take any time off. So if you want to start it, feel free. If not, then you can hold off. Let's see. Merciful said, I had a question about FTMO too. Can you do it on your phone? Yeah. Merciful, FTMO, you're just trading on a MT4 account. They give you an MT4 account and then you can trade just how you already are. So for FTMO, they just give you an MT4 login, you put it into your MT4 and then you trade on it. There's no difference. You can trade on your phone, you can trade on the computer. It's really up to you. I trade all my FTMO on my phone because I have a Mac, so I can't trade MT4 on my computer. So if you want to do it, more than welcome. Yeah, Spencer said just follow Shawn's vibe. So yeah, pretty much, you just have to keep trading. A lot of people think that, they shouldn't trade during the winter because they think market's going to be bad. But for me, I'm not scared of the market. I've been trading for like 10 years now, guys. So I'm not going to stop trading just because it's holidays. I might trade less. I might be more careful, but I'm not going to stop trading. So it's really up to you guys if you guys want to start it or not. But it's really going to be a personal choice. I would do it. Honestly, I'm going to start my third account soon so I can have a 300K account by the end of the year. So if you want to ride that train with me, let's do it. All right, so let me see if there's any other questions. I think we had one more. Okay, so S&P. This is the last one, guys. I'm going to look at S&P real quick. We got S&P right here. I'm going to go and delete this stuff. Draw these zones right here. Right, nice. So Brandon said, I'm ready, bro. I just have to work 5 days a week, 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. You're on the East Coast, right? So that works out perfectly for you, Brayden, because I go live at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So yeah, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So you can hop on the webinar right when you get home from work. So it'll definitely work out for you because you can just hop on live with me every single day and see exactly what I do and, pretty much follow my moves. Nice. Spencer said, I'm riding that train for sure. Yeah, definitely, Merciba. You should be good, bro. Do it on your phone because I do everything on my phone too. I do all my charting on the computer, obviously, but I enter all my trades on my phone because I don't have a PC. I use a Mac. So let me draw these zones right here real quick for you guys for S&P. So here's the difference with like indices and Forex, guys. Indices don't always respect structure. A lot of the indices move based on news because it's a stock market. It's not as big as a Forex market. And the thing is, if a company's going bankrupt or if a company has some bad news, regardless as to where structure is, if there's momentum pushing that move, it's going to continue pushing. So you guys got to be careful when analyzing indices because they're not the same as all of these other assets that you guys trade, especially with S&P. Price is at a high right now. So like at a new high where you can see right here, it's never been this high before. You see where price is, guys, for S&P. So analyzing S&P is risky because we don't have a ceiling. We don't have a resistance to look for because price is like super high. So the thing with S&P is I personally wouldn't trade it based on technicals alone. I would have to tie in the market during New York session. So if you guys have followed my US 30 trades, it's done during the New York session. So looking at S&P right now, it's at an all-time high. So me personally, I wouldn't trade it. I would stay far away from S&P unless you're trading the US session like how I do with US 30. It's not something that I recommend trading just randomly because So you can see that price is currently up right now, right? When the market reopens tomorrow morning at 6:30, price will spike down or will spike up. It's going to go one way or the other. Momentum's going to push it. And what you should be doing is identifying that momentum swing. The way to do that is to use the K2 momentum indicator. So like right here, the most previous signal was a buy signal, right? You can check this out here. There's a nice rejection off this point. If we get a sell signal, it's probably going to push down even further. But we won't know that because price is so high. This might not even be a resistance. This just might be a small retracement, because you can see that price pretty much goes up, then it pulls back. Goes up, then it pulls back. So at this point, price could either do the same thing it's been doing, or it can pull right back and retest this zone right here. So I personally wouldn't trade S&P until the market opens tomorrow. I always see a lot of people try to trade indices like US indices like S&P, US 30. They try to trade it during Asia session, or they try to trade it during London session. You guys got to remember that this is a US asset. So the thing is, if you're trading it during Asia session, it's just a bunch of speculation, and after our orders that are just going back and forth. That's why you see it going sideways until like the US session opens. The US session opens and then it ends up shooting, in a direction, one or the other. So I would be careful with S&P. I personally wouldn't trade it right now. But like I mentioned, it could literally go in either direction. It can go up or it can go down based on news. If you guys want to follow the S&P news after hours, you can pull up something like CNBC. I wouldn't follow them directly because they usually give the news a little late. But you can see right here that, the winter COVID surge, worst events country will face, et cetera, et cetera. You see that COVID is not looking good, guys, not looking good at all. So, and even looking at CNBC right here, they're only following Asia market. So I always find it funny when people try to trade S&P and US 30 during non-US hours. Because if you want to trade Asia session, then you can trade the Nikkei, the Nikkei, the JPY. Basically, this is the JPY equivalent to US 30 and S&P, the ASX, Shanghai market, all these other markets. But yeah, just looking at S&P right here, it can go either direction. So I'd wait until the US market opens tomorrow, because when it opens, I could almost guarantee you're going to see a spike. So tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you're going to see price spike up or spike down. And then it's your job to either wait for it to confirm the direction, or take that risk and try to ride that wave. But I personally would wait for a correction to happen or some sort of confirmation indicating, the direction of price. But yeah, I think that's about it, guys. So let me see if there's anything else here. We're supposed to do Spencer. We're going to hop on that London session together sometime. Yeah, Spencer trades that, so you guys got to hop on. There's a good amount of people that actually hop on that as well. Marissa said Keith Spencer, and then Spencer said no, just Spencer. But yeah, guys, I think that's about it. So unless you guys have any other questions, I think that's it for our session today. Just a reminder, we'll be on tomorrow morning. So if your question to get answered today, it's perfectly fine because the market's dead right now. You guys can see it's barely moving. I'll be on again tomorrow morning at 6:30 for us to take on US 30 tomorrow morning. But yeah, other than that, I'm probably going to hang around the Telegram chat. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out in Telegram, and then I can answer any questions you guys have. But yeah, no problem, Greg. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning because, there's nothing to do right now. Market's so slow. The next 4-hour candle closes in about an hour. So maybe you guys will get our first entry in about an hour. If not, the next 4-hour candle closes at 10 p.m. my time. So in about 6 hours, that'll be the next time for any possible entries. But yeah, guys, this was great. Hopefully you guys got all the zones so you guys can prepare for your trading week. If you guys have any other questions, just, reach out to me. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the live tomorrow morning. And if you guys haven't already, like this video and subscribe so that you guys can get notifications when I go live. Because I have mentoring sessions that I go on randomly, but I don't publicize it. I don't post the link up for everyone to join. But if you guys are subscribing, you guys will get the notification in your email. Say like Shawn's live right now for a mentoring session. And if you guys want to sit in on it, you guys are more than welcome. There's no charge for that. It's completely free. You guys can go on and see how I mentor people one-on-one. But yeah, guys, if you guys haven't liked the video, just like it so you can help out with the YouTube algorithm. Otherwise, I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. So yeah, guys, I'll see you guys in a bit. See you guys. Have a good night.